Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Chatting with Chops, or welcome back to my channel, Chatting with Chops. Today we're going to make pineapple butter cake. So come on and let's get started. First thing we're going to do is melt our butter. We have 1 stick of just regular butter in here and we need to melt that. Now I'm going to pour off about 6 tablespoons of this because that's what I need for my recipe later on. Okay. Okay. And then I'm just going to use the rest of this butter to warm up my pineapple. Bloop. I was going to tell you guys also, you're supposed to warm it up for about 10 minutes. But if you buy just a regular can of the pineapple chunks, about a 20 ounce, that makes about 2 cups, which is how much you need to make this pineapple butter cake. So once you've cooked your pineapples in a little bit of butter down for about 10 minutes, I just like to put mine through a strainer because you're not going to be using any of the liquid, and just let it go in a separate bowl. That way it can kind of start cooling off before you put it in with all your batter and everything. So see, we just have our nice hot pineapple pieces that were cooked in a little bit of butter sitting here kind of straining out because we're not going to need all that liquid, and they're just cooling off while we continue to bake the cake. So the next thing we've done is we have put 2/3 of a cup of flour in this bowl, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and just a little bit of salt. If you've watched any of my prior videos, you know I don't really like cooking with salt, but sometimes it's a little bit beneficial. So we've put that in a small bowl, and now we're going to put our whole eggs in our big mixing bowl. So we need 2 whole eggs. Okay. And then we need an egg yolk. So just the yolk. And now we're going to blend those up really good. So the next thing we need for our recipe is the rest of the melted butter, the 6 tablespoons that we melted just a few minutes ago. We're going to put that in there. And then we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, which if you've watched any of my prior videos, I'm really enjoying using vanilla bean paste right now because it's a 1-on-1 equivalent. So we need 1 teaspoon. I'm just going to put that in there. And then we need 1 cup of sugar. Isn't that always the case when you're in the middle of a recipe, you run out of ingredients? All right, so we needed to put a whole cup of granulated sugar, and we have a half a cup in here, and now I'm putting the other half a cup. And then we're supposed to have a half a teaspoon of lemon zest, which I went ahead and zested the lemon earlier. So we're just gonna put all that in there. Okay. And then we're going to add our flour and our pineapple. Here, I'm going to take this off for the moment. So we add our flour. And then we're going to add all of our pineapple. Okay. And then we're going to just let that stir up gently for just a minute. Now the next thing we need to do is just put it in our 9-inch pie plate that we have, our little pie pan that we've already buttered so that nothing will stick. And I still like to do old school where I do the wax paper in the bottom of the pan. It just keeps things from sticking. So, okay, get all that off of there. And then I'm going to do a quick stir to make sure that everything is mixed in. And another thing I like to do is just kind of take a glance at my workstation, because I keep all of my ingredients together as I'm using them, and then I move them out of the way on the counter when I'm done with them. So I can usually look and see if there's anything left over, it means I've missed an ingredient. So that's just another little baking tip for you. Okay, I'm gonna just pour this in my baking pan, and then we're going to put this in the oven at 375 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. Well, isn't that beautiful? I let him cook for about 30 minutes, and now I'm just going to let my cake sit here on a wire rack and cool off for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to take him out of the pan. Okay, so now is when you would invert it over and get it out of the pan. What I like to do really quickly is just make sure that my edges are not stuck. And as you can see, my edges are a little bit stuck. So I'm just kind of working those around the pan. Just trying to make sure that everything has let loose, so that it'll make it easier for the cake to come out of the pan. And then you just kind of swirl it around and make sure that everything is loose before you try and get it out. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take my rack and I'll turn it upside down, and this is when you hope that everything didn't stick and it all comes out beautifully. There you go. And then I just gently pull at the wax paper, that way in case it starts to try and act like it's going to stick, which it did not. That was wonderful. And then so that you don't have grate marks on the top of your cake, just turn it back over. And we're just going to let that cool completely. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe so I can make more bakes for you guys. And I will see you on the next bake. Thanks for joining me. So the next thing we need to do is mix our, oh goodness,